heard. Speak harmony where knowledge meets community.
Where knowledge meets community.
Yes,
Love
yes,
it,
yes.
love it. So, want to welcome you all to another episode of Speak Harmony. We are live on YouTube each Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. This episode, as usual, is brought to you by none other than APAP Media, a photo and production full-service media company specializing in podcasting, multi-camera recording, video, and live streaming services. You may contact APAP Media at info@apapmedia.com. That's info@apap.com. That's apapmedia.com. Thank you. Appreciate you, Mr. P and Damien. That's our crew right there. We rely on them each and every Tuesday to make us sound great, to make us sound fantastic, and they never fail.
They never
Sister
fail
Sharon.
us yet. That's
I
right.
am Sharon Thompson, host of Speak Harmony, and this is
Dr. Sharon Reid, the Heart Lady, at your service.
So wow, what day is today? We've got a lot going
We
on.
got a
I know
lot
you've
going
been
on.
traveling, you've been
I've
working, you've been
traveling
enjoying
and
life,
work.
girl.
Yes, I have.
Way to go,
Let
way
me
to go,
tell
way to
you,
go. Talk
Last
to me.
week I was in Gatlinburg doing the skyline and trails, and then I was Nashville and learning about the city of Nashville. It was a girls' trip. It was fun. Yeah, we drove. Girlfriend drove down from Jersey and picked me up, and we drove to Gatlinburg, then 4 hours to Nashville, then back to Georgia. Yes, serious, but we had a ball. And then this weekend, big up to my son, Hiram, who works for Netflix, and we came down to LA and took us, again, another trail. So I should be really fit about now. Another trail way up on top of the mountains, looking down. It was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was like
California.
puff and puff. But he said, come on, Mom, you could do it. And I was like, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I could do it. So we walked in. We had a great time
Nice.
visiting that area. So I'm thankful. So this is the day. I was struggling to find a real fun one, but maybe some might find it fun. It is, you ready for this? It is National Corned Beef Day.
Wow.
Corned beef and cabbage.
Interesting.
So I don't like either. Don't eat cabbage.
I like cabbage.
I don't like cabbage.
I like everything on that
And-
plate.
Yeah.
Except for the corned beef. Yeah. I mean, no offense. but I
Yeah,
don't-
even when I was little, I did not like corned beef. So,
Really?
but it is, and it's a tradition in Jamaica: corned beef and cabbage and white rice.
rice.
Oh my gosh!
No, say it right. Shelly white rice. So
Shelly.
that white rice see,
Has
we like
to
it-
be.
Yeah, we don't like it.
It can't be
It
so
has to be. Yeah, it has to be-
starchy.
yeah.
Yes. So if it's not starchy and kind of separate,
Yeah,
they almost like Uncle Ben's rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
So
like
in
that one
Jamaica,
either.
we say Shelly rice. I don't know why they, because it doesn't stick together. Because I don't like my rice sticking like
Nobody
that.
does.
I don't know. There's some people like it a little.
And so, it was a traditional, it's traditional in Ireland. It's an Irish dish. And they used to use salt pork or bacon instead of corned beef. But by the 1800s, when they migrated to the Americas, it changed to more of a Jewish culture, which had corned beef. And that texture was similar to what they were used to in Ireland. So I thought that was interesting. And as a result, corned beef was a replacement for the bacon.
Oh.
And soon after, the Irish Americans began to use that as their national dish for St. Patrick's Day. So for those who are into it, that's what that's about. And did you know that the first all-women's bowling tournament also took place in Missouri? So, and then I thought this was interesting just to kind of bring out there. Elizabeth, and because it is International Women's Month, so in the vein of that, Elizabeth Ann Seton becomes the first American let me repeat that, becomes the first American to become canonized in the Roman Catholic as a saint. And so I was wondering what made her become a saint. So this was interesting. All three of them were medically inexplicable discoveries. So one, she helped cure a nun from pancreatic cancer. And in 1934, healing of a 4-year-old girl with leukemia, and that's a blood disease. And in 1942, the recovery of a man who was comatose and dying from terminal encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain.
Yeah. Really?
So I thought that was interesting.
That's
I guess
cool.
that would make her a saint.
Of course. Good to know. Good to know.
So that's it in the news today. You didn't tell us what you did over the weekend.
Gosh, what did I do? I just can't remember.
You don't remember?
Well, you know, I mean, honestly, how could I forget? Man, whoo, Lord have mercy. Let me tell you, these weekends are running into each other.
Yes, they are.
And so on Friday, let me start with Friday because my weekends got off to an early start. There is a Claude McKay,
Oh,
the
for
Jamaican
those who don't know,
girlfriend, the Jamaican poet from Somerville, or as they would say, goodness gracious, James Hill, Clarendon, okay, in Jamaica. Claude McKay, the famous poet. There's a gentleman from Paris, the director. He was introduced to Claude McKay like over 25 years ago. And because of that, he decided to really dig deeper. He created a film. He did a film on Claude McKay. The things I learned about Claude McKay, I grew up on his poem, Yellow Daisies. It's If I Die Before, whatever, I forget the name of that particular poem. But Claude McKay was one of those poets that we revered as Jamaicans. Well, the movie was very interesting. It opened up so much in my world. I had no clue. That was one.
yeah.
So, of course, we hung out. We hung out with the director. We were privileged to hang with him, to teach him everything and share with him everything Jamaica. So, big ups and shout outs to Dr. Fuller, who's graced the studio right here. Dr. Fuller, Harcourt Fuller, who introduced us. So we got to the premiere on Friday. Saturday, we had our AJA monthly meeting. That was very interesting because we learned a lot from just being in that space.
Yeah.
We had a great guest. So shout out to Dr. Bolton. Thank you. And then Sunday, we took this director out. Well, he went and he was graced for hours. He spent with our great sculptor, Basil Bryan, Basil
yes.
Watson, Basil Bryan. I went to Dr. Bryan, the former ambassador, but Dr. Watson, Basil Watson, the sculptor, he was mesmerized. He was there for hours on end, hanging out with him. He has a beautiful studio in Lawrenceville. And then we hung out at Escovich's afterwards, ate Jamaican food and just chat. There were about 20, I think we spent quite a few hours there. We were hanging for a minute. So let me tell you, my weekend was, I don't know how I could
It's a
forget that.
show
It was
off. She's trying to show off on me.
It was well spent.
Very
And
good, very
He's
good.
excited about the Jamaican culture.
And,
So we
and you
look
didn't
forward to
mention
that.
about Claude McKay. He is the one who wrote one of his poems, from what John F. K. is famous of saying, is not what your country does for you, but what you do for the country. That was Claude McKay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you know what? I just learned something else. I'm telling you, my eyes were wide open because I only knew about the poems that we would recite in school. But this man was larger than life. He was amazing. He made some you have to look him up.
Yeah.
So Wow. So that was
So
my
talking
weekend.
about amazing, right? And what you can do for your country.
Oh my gosh, we've got an amazing guest, Sister Sharon, in the studio. You know, and right here on Speak Harmony, we're privileged. We get some very amazing, outstanding
We
community
do.
leaders.
Yes,
we're
we
just
do.
really privileged to have them.
Yes.
And so, guys, I don't want to bore you, but I'm going to give you a snippet of her bio because I'm not going to go down the whole thing. But we'll be here until next Tuesday. So, Teresa Hardy, a visionary leader, community advocate, and seasoned executive committed to advancing economic empowerment, faith-driven leadership, and generational impact. Let me say that again. She's committed to advancing economic empowerment, faith-driven leadership, and generational impact. That's what she does. And I'm going to continue down this vein, but I'm going to interject right here. I met this sister a while ago through, like you said, generational impact. A sister that I met, a younger sister, and she is her mentor. So she was born and raised in, is this Lineville, Alabama?
Yes.
Was nurtured by her parents, Billy and Ada Hardy, who instilled in her the values of faith, perseverance, service, and integrity. Growing up in a large but close-knit family with 6 siblings shaped her resilience and passion for leadership. Above all, she treasures JT, her son, Jamarius, whose inspiration fuels her pursuit of excellence. She's anchored on a scripture found in Joshua 24 and 15. Teresa lives by the principle, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That's it. No choice there. She has a multitude of accomplishments, and I'm going to skip down here because she's successfully managed, by the way, a multi-million-dollar initiative across industries. She's she's an accomplished executive manager and CEO of Hardy, Graham, and Associates LLC, where she has led global teams, transformed organizations. You've done the most, Sister Dear. One other thing, she was the president of the NAACP in DeKalb County. She has done the most, but I'm gonna stop right there because
The list goes on.
Girl, I'll just be on, going
The list
on
goes
and on and
on.
on and on. And so, welcome to Speak Harmony, Sister Teresa Hardy.
Thank you, Sharon and Sharon.
Wow.
You are so welcome. And I think
I'm
this
so
is
glad
just
to
such a wonderful guest to continue to celebrate International Women's Month.
Yes.
So you cover the gamut. And we would just have you for the rest of the month. All right.
Wow.
So tell us about your start. How did you become such an advocate?
That's a good question. I never thought of it that way. Actually, I would say that I think it was a burning and yearning in me as a young girl. As a young girl, I actually wanted to be a lawyer, but most people told me I was too nice and I was passive. So they were like, you can't be no lawyer. So all my teachers and stuff wanted me to be a teacher, of course. But when I went to college, I got the opportunity to actually advocate for us. We had African American history as an elective, and they did not want it to be credited. So I was an Alpha Suite in college. We and the bros got together, and we actually marched and protested to have African American studies be accredited. They had us in Western Civ. What is that, right? But that was my first intro of really doing something in the heart of Birmingham, Alabama, right? Where Dr. Martin Luther King was, and of course he was the Alpha, so it was a lot going on there. We spent a lot of time at the Baptist Church during my studies at UAB. So a lot of that kind of started to yearn in me. And then when while I was in school, I did get pregnant while I was in school, and so I had my son. And my goal was to get out of school before he goes to school. So then having a boy, and it was my dad's first grandson boy, because my dad has 6 girls. So he was spoiled. Of course he was. Yes, he is. He's very charismatic, a charmer. Get anything he wants. And just being a young man growing up where I was actually the oldest from my mom and dad, I kind of took on ownership on trying to be the one in the family to do right, right? And to show my siblings that no matter what happens, you push forward. Yeah. So it was in Birmingham, Alabama at UAB. I got my start. And when I graduated from college, I got to see the world. Yeah. I became an IT consultant. My degrees are computer science and human resource management. And I started working as a consultant. And again, from Florida to Detroit to Atlanta to all over the world, I've been able to do a lot of business transformation in the IT space. Get into Atlanta or DeKalb County, it was my cousin and I, we were talking, she's an engineer and information technology. We were talking as a family and stating that we wanted to do more. We felt like we were given to corporate America, but wasn't giving back to our community. So I think that's the drive that I actually had. But when I moved to Atlanta, I became the president of my HOA after attending one meeting. And I was the HOA president for 19 years.
Wow. 19
years.
19.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Exactly.
That really is impressive.
Yes.
Almost
I mean,
2
you were just
decades.
born with leadership in your blood.
Yes.
Woo.
And didn't know it, right?
Right.
So I didn't go around saying, I want to be.
Yeah, right.
You know.
People just saw it in you.
Happened.
Yeah, it literally just happened. So coming into the neighborhood, moving here, there was things that our community did not have. They had built a new community. However, they didn't have streetlights. They didn't have sidewalks. They didn't have cable, wiring. Plus, they had some other homes that needed to be built. They didn't have a solid governance for the HOA. So,
But they had a Teresa.
but then they had a Teresa.
They had a Teresa.
And with Teresa, I ended up changing what neighborhood looks like. I told the people, don't call it, I didn't like the word subdivision because I think subdivisions divides our community. So we would call it neighborhood.
Nice.
Right?
I will be saying
Yes.
that from now on.
Neighborhood,
Thank
yes.
you for that.
I like
yes,
that.
right.
Thank you.
We are a community, which is unite, right?
That's right.
So it really started with what we were able to accomplish there. We created block captains so that everybody could watch the streets. We started having pool parties, back to school, and Christmas parties to keep our neighborhood going. We were able to get street lights, sidewalks, and a way to get the cable installed at the in the infrastructure that was already built. Wow. So we had a lot of accomplishments along the way. Yeah. So, but that got into the advocacy. But again, not knowing that this is what you're really doing.
Well, you were called to do it without knowing to
Absolutely.
do it, right?
I want to ask you, though,
Yes.
your earliest influences, because there's got to be, I know you grew up in that tightly knit home, that household. Who was your influence? Who did you see as an influence in leadership? I mean, I know it's innate. I get that part. I know it's definitely something that was born inside.
Yeah.
But was there a teacher? Was there a leader? I mean, someone that you saw that you said, you know what? Yeah.
Actually,
that's.
yeah. So I think the older I get, I think about it, but as a little girl, it was more for me to get out of the country, right? And how was I going to get out? My mom instilled in me to get education. She had not got her degree, but she wanted all of us to go to school. Right, so it wasn't a choice. It was this is what you were
It was expectation.
going to do. I think my mom set the expectation. I now give her a lot of kudos, but back then I was like, oh Lord, I just don't want to be like that. Right, raising family, you know, being at home, and not being able to do things that you really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I looked at what she was able to do was raise 6 kids. While my dad worked on the railroad. After we all got in school, she actually became a school bus driver and started a substitute teaching, and then they wanted her to go to school. But my mom used to have little tea parties and all these gatherings, but I think she was living out what the things she wanted to do. But then seeing what I was able to start to get accomplished, I just didn't know that was the path that I was going to take. It wasn't that I saw a leader. I saw women and other people in my neighborhood telling me to do this, and you're going to be great, and you're going to do this, and I'm like, okay. And so when I went off to college, all of that was already in my ears. My 4th grade teacher and 6th grade teacher lived across the street from us. Miss Scott, her birthday's in April as well, like with mine. So she was our teacher that really didn't like nurture us in it. It's kind of like she was telling us what we was gonna do, right?
You're gonna be that person.
Yeah. You going to school. She was the one telling us to go to school. We were going to go to Tuskegee, and we were going to come back home and be teachers. But all of us decided to leave, and most of us didn't come back.
Yeah.
Right. So
Carved your own lane.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm coining you, Teresa Hardy works hard. You do so much, and, you know, over 30 years in your profession. Tell us, how did you start and why did you start Hardy Graham and Associates? What's that?
Yeah, so Hardy Graham and Associates is my both of my parents' maternal mother's maiden name.
Okay.
So in 2011, I created this name and wanted to start to build out what I call a legacy. Those 2 ladies, my dad's mom and my mom's mom, were grand ladies. They were hard workers in their own capacity, not working corporate, but working hard. Like my grandmother, my dad's mom, she raised all her kids by herself. My mom's mom raised 10 kids. They both had 10 kids.
They both had 10 kids?
Each. They big family.
You've got a
Like
big family.
I mean,
you grew up in a community.
I did.
A beautiful neighborhood.
Yes, we did. And both of them had 10 babies, but you know, my granny, my mom's mom, had her husband who took care of her, and my granny did not work and didn't have to, right? But they raised nice families, even if they're indifferent, and they brought my mom and dad together, which they were 2 different people, but they actually had family as the cornerstone of their life. So my granny, she used to say to me that I needed to go to school and get a husband.
That's old school. That's right.
Very old
That's
school. I said, Granny, well, I can't even go to school to get no husband. And then I ended up being pregnant. And later on, I did get married. But I said, no, Granny, it's not a... She's like, how you going to take care of yourself? And I said, Granny, you have 10, and ain't nobody taking care of you. And she just started laughing. But I understand what she's talking about, the fruit of the labor, you know.
Yeah.
So my faithfulness came from my grandparents. My mom made us go to church, not just one church, every church in the neighborhood. So we was Baptist, Methodist, Holiness.
And so from then, Hardy and Graham and Associates came to mind?
Yes, and it is a management consulting firm, and I just basically do what I do that I did for the corporate America. So project management, management consultant, which is like training, leadership, development, business transformation. I do a little. I don't do the technical stuff anymore, but it seems like I'm going to be forced back into that with AI.
Yeah.
Yes, I am being tested, but but yeah, that's how it came to be. So I do a lot of consulting under Hardy Graham
And you
Associates.
consult about IT? What
Nope, everything.
really? How to
Everything.
start?
Mostly businesses.
Mostly businesses. So
small
within
business.
that, then it's a lot of leadership. So what advice do you give women?
Well, first of all, for women, most of the women that I've seen in the consulting area is they have their business. If they don't have a business, I'm always encouraging someone to have their business. One of the things that I learned as a kid is that if I had known that I could have had a business and go to school and work, I should have did that early on, right? But I didn't know what you don't know. So I encourage everyone to have, even if it's their hustle, try to figure out a way to make your hustle be an actual business. Of course. I want you to be legit. I want you to have a registration, because what we experienced during the pandemic was a lot of people were not legit. But if they would have been legit, they could have got that help.
Of course.
Right. But we always need to have the foundation of having our stuff in order. You know, stand on business is what I say. Stand on business at all times. I didn't realize that I was around a lot of entrepreneurs growing up, with the things that my mom was in sales, because she did Mary Kay and she did Tupperware, and my aunt did hair. She was a cosmetologist. So I never connected the two together till I got older to say, wait a minute, we do have an entrepreneur. It's okay to have an entrepreneur spirit and move our family that way. But my biggest dream is to economically create legends for our family.
I like that.
Right. That's so we have started. This is the funny part. We started a savings little meeting. I call it a meeting. They hate it because they was like, "Oh God, here she come with these presentations." But the meeting is very simple.
Yeah.
We started out doing $1 and penny savings, and we met monthly to discuss any challenges that were keeping you from saving your dollar or your penny, and to hear from the family. This was only just our family, and we call it the Hardy Savings Plan. So we meet every month to actually go through that. So we went a whole year, and the prize was during Christmas, I stopped no longer giving gifts. The gift is going to be this. And we need to really holistically get in our mindset that we need to save as much as you can. So whoever participated for the whole year was put the name in the hat, draw their name out, and your money was doubled.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like
Yes.
that. And you said something about they weren't in corporate. You're great. But
Yeah.
you know what? You had a corporate mindset, because
Yeah.
who came up with this idea about corporate?
Yeah.
That was corporate.
Yes.
Having 10 kids, juggling, taking
Right.
care of 10
Right.
kids
Exactly.
was corporate.
That was very
So,
corporate.
I mean,
yes.
you know,
They were the
we don't-
CEOs of the
Hello,
Exactly.
the CFOs, the
CEOs of the
yes.
family.
of the
Yes.
family. So, you know, I mean, the taking what they say, taking a little bit and multiplying,
Yes.
and making sure everybody was taken care of.
Yes.
And for you to come up with that corporate mindset, girlfriend, you've been a leader. It's in your blood. It's deep down.
Right.
Graham Hardy, hard. You went hard, and I like that. I like that a lot, because you know you served in leadership roles like so many different spaces. The NCNW, the NAACP, the National Women of Achievement. You know, what motivates you to stay deeply engaged in community work, though?
Yes.
What's
So
that motivation?
I think the motivation is I really love being in the governance of that. I love organizational structure and effectiveness. It's actually a challenge to me, because, you know, being in those organizations are not like the funnest thing to do, but it's a challenge that I know that I can overcome. I teach people to look at the mission and vision statements. Even though you come in here and you want to talk sisterly and be sisterly and we're going to hang out and we're going to do all these things, that is not the mission.
Right.
Right? We truly have a mission, and until we fulfill the mission, we need to keep working at it. So that's why I've had my experience with each one of them give me something different. NAACP, NCNW are my social justice alignment. TLOD, NWOA are more the service, because we do service a lot of youth and seniors and those type of things. And then NCBW is policy.
And what does NCW stand for?
NCBW is National Coalition of 100 Black Women. That is a policy focused organization. And then, of course, being a part of a chamber is the small business advocate side.
Yeah, I see
So
that.
every one of them
You've
have
done
a place.
I mean,
She's
really.
a sister who has done
Yeah.
everything. I mean, a board member
Yes.
of the Greater
Great.
Lithonia Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
I mean, it says, though, with that, and I like that you did that, it says you focus on closing the racial wealth gap.
Yes.
And I heard that when you said,
Yeah.
I just gathered my family together.
Are we going to
and said,
save $1?
Hello. And
I mean, really.
It was a benevolent dictatorship.
Right.
And I
like that.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
It's the fact that you could get your family.
Yeah, because a lot of
Get
people
on
like, how
board.
you do that?
Look, she was way ahead of herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you made sure you called it, and they must have been like,
They didn't
"Yes,
want to do
ma'am."
it. They didn't want to do it.
But that's fine. But you made them.
Yeah, my dad made them.
Oh, that's
Wait,
good. That's
yes,
good.
You came up with
Yes,
a strategy.
yes.
And you made it happen. So your
Right.
dad was there to sort of reinforce.
Right.
But really, it came from Teresa's hardiness.
Yes.
So I like that a lot. I mean, tell us about the 7 F's, though, because you created that empowerment framework
Yes.
around the 7 F's.
Yes. So a long time ago, I used to do these little groups. Of course, I'm sure everybody's done groups of people and come together, but I also like to have a purpose for the group. And the 7 F's, it's a funny thing because we always talking about grades, right? And so I come up with the F's because they kind of fall in line. But if you notice, 7 means complete. I'm all into that.
Right.
And the F's are more like to encourage us that even though it's a grade of F, it's a really grade of A when you accomplish these things, right? So it's faith, family, fitness, friends, finances, Forte, and having fun. And it is like the quality of life.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And when I started having the sessions, we started out having the sessions with women only. And people would come in, and I didn't do it the same way, and I did not use these quadrants to talk about it because I want people to say what they want to say. So you would fill out a piece of paper, put your question in a basket, and then I will facilitate the questions out. So no one would know who
said
question
what
it
it
was,
was, yeah.
but then we would have the discussion. And the discussion or the question that's asked or the comment, everybody would fill in and have a fulfillment. So what we noticed when we were having those sessions, most of them were falling back to a man. So I started including men in the actual sessions as well. So that became our women empowerment sessions.
I mean, really, because, this is the other half, and we talk about men, and you want to hear from a male point of view.
Yes.
So which one of those 7 F's do you think most people struggled with?
They struggle with fitness and finances.
Fitness and finance.
Yeah. Everybody thinks they have a good, and I did find when we had conversations, though, family was a relationship barrier. But that was, I'm not no therapist. I don't do the therapist stuff. But, when you're talking about where you've been, where you are, and you're not happy with yourself, it's usually some trauma or something like that. So people would talk about that. But it was more, everybody wanted to be fit, but they also talked about finances more than anything.
Yeah.
And when you talk about fitness, I may just open up that window because in our communities,
Yeah.
they, the powers that be, we don't have the stores or the restaurants, supposedly, when we want to go out to eat. we've got the fried chicken and more fried chicken and more fried pork and more fried this
fish.
and more, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
junk,
Right.
garbage.
Right.
And so we don't have the healthy choices. And eating healthy, as you know, it does cost. It comes at a cost. And in our,
At a
again,
cost.
in our neighborhoods. So I like the fact that you've been open, you've brought women and the brothers, sisters, but
The
you brought
brothers.
in the
Yes.
brothers and put them together because really that's how God created it.
That's right.
That's how he meant it.
Yes.
He wanted us all to be together. And in our community, we've been I would say disenfranchised is the word.
Yeah. So just FYI, I don't believe in disenfranchisement. I believe that positively we're here for a reason and everything is good. What we have done is we're in a free will world and we've made choices.
And you have choice. That's right.
You have a choice. And one of the other things I see that people have too many choices, right? So now that we have all these choices, now that we can eat what we want, I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up eating what I wanted. I ate what was there.
That's right.
Right? So now that we've allowed our next generations to actually come in and just do whatever, that's where it came in. I don't believe that we're disenfranchised. I believe that we have to make a choice and we have to make a decision to be healthy.
And let me clarify that. So when
I know.
When I
I've
say
read it.
disenfranchised,
Yeah.
I'm talking about I have to drive, and I'm not plugging any particular
Yes.
institution, any particular
I
place.
get it. I
don't
get
even
it.
want to say the name.
Yes.
Okay, but I was at that particular place yesterday,
Yes.
and what I spent, there's no way in this neighborhood that I live in. I had to go half an hour away
Right.
to get good prices, and
Yeah.
to get solid stuff.
Right.
And so I wouldn't get organic stuff
Right.
at that cost.
Right.
So when I say that, the truth is, it's there. We make choices, but they're really not readily available. We can't walk if I don't have a car. I can't get to an organic store.
And living in Atlanta,
Okay.
you can't even take transit there.
No.
So you know.
It
is difficult.
there is a little bit of and so
I'm with you
So
all
you know
the
what?
way.
But that's
But-
what you said earlier. You know what
Yeah.
you said about
Come
unity.
Come
And
together.
you have to
that's what
unite.
I-
That's right.
Unite.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
village.
We are
need
stronger
to get
together.
back.
Look,
That's it. We need
I'm
to
ready
get back to the village.
nominate her for office. I'll be like,
That's it.
I mean,
When
I'm ready.
Yeah. When are you going to run for office?
I mean,
said
I'm
that to
ready
her.
with all
Yes.
these things that she
Yes.
has accomplished,
Yes.
and that leadership spirit. It's just very refreshing to know I'm not accepting disenfranchised.
Right.
No,
You have a
She's like,
choice.
yes.
She said, with structure, when we're in an organization, we're going to be doing to the mission.
Right.
She's sticking to the point, staying focused, and I
Yes.
love that. And that's how you get results, right? And so, what does true success mean to you in this stage of your life?
So I have thought about that. So with success, I think, okay, so first of all, I believe that we're all successful, period. I think there's just a level of success. And most people would say dreams coming true and all this. But I truly have a vision that I truly believe that our communities would come together and unite. I believe that when we unite, we're strong. If people keep telling me, well, Teresa, that's not going to work. We don't do da-da-da. That is my belief. That is what I look for.
Yes.
I look for us opportunities for being in unified spaces. And every time I'm saying that, it seems like that's when we get in more distractions, more division. And so I'm always listening to Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, because he had also a dream, and his dream was what? That we will walk together, right?
In
No matter what your
in
color.
unity. Yes.
It's happening.
Yes, ma'am.
So I really wanted us to focus, like Black people, to unite just as our Asian communities have, our Latinos have, our white people have, our white women have. But when it comes to our Black community, we are the only one that cannot agree on one thing.
Wow. But it's part of the intergenerational trauma and the emotional DNA that we carry, and so it's really about this change of mindset and what you are teaching that hey, we can, and we're not just going to accept the okie doke. Right? And it is time to really move forward and embrace each other's as brother and sister and try to, but build the community,
And as the champion that you are, I mean, the champion for economic justice and community advancement. We need more people like you. And I like the fact that she's pouring into the next generation. You've poured in, and you're continuing to pour into the next generation. Because I'm telling you, the mutual sister, I mean, that we have, she's a replica of her. And so now I see why. I see it. I see it. And I thank you for that because we need more leaders, community leaders like yourself. We need more people. We need you to be replicated. So I like what you're doing. I mean,
and talking about that, what does your son do? Has he gotten some of that, fire?
No.
I'm sure he does. You just haven't seen it yet.
No, he does not. He, when he was younger, I said, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? I don't want to do what you're doing, Mama.
Of course.
It looks hard.
Of course.
I was like, man, I'm making waves for you,
Yeah.
But he likes photography. He did go to college, but he did not finish. So he's working and does photography on the side.
Yeah.
But I told him, I think I want more for him than he can actually see. And so he's in a stage in his life where he's trying to find that path. But I'm like, you can do it. You can do it. And then I'm also saying, boy, hurry up.
They do find their way.
Yeah.
It's just the way that they choose to go about it is so much different from the way that we've done and we've been taught. So, on their defense, we have to allow them to carve themselves out. And what they see as leadership is not what we see. But they do get the job done.
Exactly.
And photography, he is seeing things through different lens and bringing out his creativity and creating memories for folks. And so in his own right, he is leading that
He
journey.
really is.
Yes.
And you know what she said about not going back home. I'm going to let you escape that one. You came from there. You came to Atlanta. But have you ever thought about going back to where it started? And planting seeds there.
And I do. I go back. I go back often to speak. A lot of their events at home. I have been there for any type of, let's see, I hate to say it, but that's what it was. But it was a racial situation there that I got involved on the advocacy side, which was with HUD, where they had been discriminate against people in the apartments and stuff down there. And it was funny because I was talking to DOJ and they was like, well, how you know these people? I said, I grew up there. So there, and she was more like, well, what is it in for you? I said, there's nothing in for me. I want to make sure that they get justice. And, but in a community like ours, people don't trust people outside the community. So I did go down there and gathered up the pastors and the elected officials and said, let's have a meeting and go over this discrimination so that we could talk to our community. So I talked to them, and then they started talking to the DOJ. And so they got money.
See,
All right.
But it starts with trust, though, because the fact that they know you,
Right?
and they know you are that fierce and fearless leader.
Exactly.
They trusted you, and there's trust.
Right. Exactly.
I'm sensing a sense of boldness and courageousness within you that you can just go up and talk. Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been talking about. To be able to go and say, hey, pastors, come together. We need to get this done. I truly do admire that about you. And so what's on the horizon for you?
Well, currently, for me personally, there's some things that I'm working on, but I am taking my time. and I'm not telling people.
Okay.
Right?
That's right.
Because there's something about that. It's
There's some
yeah.
things
there's a
that you just
season.
got
It's in the incubator.
That's
Yes.
You got to let it stay
That's
there
right.
marinate.
Because not
Yes.
everybody wishes you well, even though they may say
Yes.
they do.
I've learned that the hard way.
Yep.
So I'm working on some things there. But in the meantime, I'm still working in a community, thriving and making sure that we are united. There's an election. And to me, there's an election every day, right? So I preach 365, that there's an election every day, right? Even though we're in an election cycle or season, there's an election every day, okay? And so right now I spend a lot of time not just telling people to go vote or register to vote. I educate them. I'm setting up some educational series where we're going to talk about what's on the ballot that's coming up so people will understand the roles.
Thank you for that. I've been saying that and asking for that for so long.
Yes.
But I think one of the obstacles why people really don't vote is because they don't know who and what to
Right.
vote for. They don't know what bills are up and how it's going to impact their community, their neighborhood.
Right.
They don't know. And you bringing it up and educating people, well, this bill means that, because a lot of them, the terminology for some of them is kind of rough, right? When
Yeah.
you're reading the bill.
Yes.
So if you break that down and people can be able to say, okay,
I can
yeah,
relate
I'm
to it,
for
make it
I'm for this or I'm not for this,
Yeah,
and so really make educated choices when they are voting and really going out. Now, when you understand it, you can hold your leaders accountable.
Accountable.
And town hall,
Yeah.
I literally just said this, and I like the way you frame it, Sharon and Teresa. When it's election season, so there's always election, but you see these signs all
Yeah.
over the place, and
Yes.
you see this name and that name, but technically you don't see them most times
That's right.
until it's election
Election
season.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
So you really, like Sharon said, you don't know what they stand for. You don't know who they are. And so you can't just see them and go, oh, well, that person looks like me, so they probably care about what I stand for. What it means nothing.
Yeah.
And I will always say that not all skin folk are kinfolk.
That's right.
And that's truth.
That's right.
So where can folks, and that's your camera over there, Teresa, but where can folks get educated? How can they get to you? They want to be educated. They want to know more. Because telling me to vote for Susie Brown or, Patrick, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know them.
Well, I wouldn't tell you who to vote for.
No.
Yes.
Right?
How?
But I will tell you how. There's resources for you to actually, that's out there for free, right? You can go on the Secretary of State's website to find out like what the roles are.
Yeah.
But you can also identify who the people are.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend more of your time finding out who the people are, you can go to the Secretary of State's website, pull it up, the qualified candidates, and go to their websites. Everybody has either a website or email. I would say that you educate yourselves about the person in that manner, not in the manner of what people tell you. Because you have a different view of how you want things for your household, and you have a different view, and I have a different view, right?
Yes,
but we all want greatness. We want excellence,
Yeah.
right?
There is a commonality.
There's right. So there is a commonality, but you have to find that within others. I usually ask the candidates, what is your intent?
Yes.
Because once I figure out your intent, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Right. And that ain't something people like to talk about a lot, but I see intent.
Yes.
And I see beyond you just coming up, all of a sudden you want to run for office. Why do you want to run? And when they tell me something that's not the role of that office, I'm done with them.
Wow.
And what does that mean? They're not in. What does that mean?
So, like, let's say someone says they want to be, I'll give you one. I had to deal with this one. Someone wants to run for the Board of Education. And they said, oh, yes, I want to make sure my kids is right. I said, okay. Well, what do you want to do? What are you going to do as a board member for our schools? How would you do that? And when they start to say, oh, the students need this and the students need that, and I said, school board members don't do that. School board members is about the budget.
Yeah.
and it's hiring a superintendent, right? There's some policies that you can put in place, which they usually never mention it. They always talk about the students. Students are in the classroom, but what policy would you create to make sure your students are safe?
Yeah.
That they have the right education or the curriculum. What would you do? Because some of that you can do without being a board member.
Wow.
Right.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's what's the problem you plan to solve?
Yes.
And then what have you done to show that,
That
hey,
part.
you know, that
Yes.
I'm the
Prove
type
it
of
to us.
candidate
Right.
that can help move forward.
Right.
Like Councilwoman over here who has a proven track record
Yes.
of getting things done.
Yeah.
And I truly think that's important. But you know, you were talking about knowing the candidate, but a lot of folks don't even know what district they're in.
I know. So if you want to know, let me say this. If you want to know what district you're in, you need to go to mvp.sos.ga.gov. Put in your name, your birth date, hit the submit, and it will tell you all of that. And everybody needs to do that because why? We're in a season where our leaders, some of our leaders are purging the list. And if you're not a regular voter, even if you are, you need to check to make sure, we call it check your status. To always check your status. Don't wait till it's early voting or it's the day of. Check your status every day. We're already on social media.
Yeah.
Just put it on. Just do that. It don't take that long.
You're on social media anyway, right?
Exactly. Make your time for social media. Check your status at least once a week.
Give that site again.
Yes, that site is mvp.sos.ga.gov.
Yeah, I think it's important
Yes, it
because
is.
you see the candidates and you like them, but you don't know if they're in your
You don't know
district.
them, but not only
and the
that,
council people, you don't
like what
know
you
them.
see.
Yeah.
That's a visual.
Or
Right.
what they even stand for. So it's important that
Yeah.
you support your neighborhood,
That's right.
right?
But then
And
go to
knowing
town
who's in
hall
there.
meetings.
Yeah, and going
Because,
to
you
the
know,
town
go to
hall
meetings,
Yeah,
because
Sharon got me
that's another
going to
thing.
town hall
You have to.
meetings.
You good.
Yeah, and
got to
I'm
be
watching the
Yes.
protocol
Yes.
of when you're bringing things up. I'm so
Yes.
impressed. Yeah, so
And
yeah,
ask
Sharon.
questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
questions.
Go. I mean, I live in this city, but guess what? I go to the city over yonder, and the next city over. I mean, I go to the next county meeting because I want to know what's going on over
Yeah,
there.
around you.
course.
Yeah, and so I
mean,
learned. She's like, "Come on, Sharon, we going."
Oh, we have to.
And
Well, that's
so I'm
good.
learning. Yeah,
That's
it's really
good.
good. Yeah.
You know what I found out? Just, something that was brought to our attention at a meeting not too long ago. That with those birth certificates, our seniors, and I want you to speak to that. Teresa. With our seniors, especially these days, can I ask any of you right now? If I ask you to present
Your birth certificate.
your birth certificate, can you go and put your hand on it right away? How many people can do that?
Yeah, I can.
Not too many. Well, we can because
Yeah.
you know we because we can.
Yeah.
But I don't know too many people.
Of the elders, they
Since-
can't. Yeah,
Well, the
that's
elders?
right.
I've
There's
asked
people,
young
younger
people,
people.
and they said, "Well, my mom."
My mom. That's right. We are the bankers.
I'm like your mother. You're 34. What
Yeah.
was your mom doing with your birth certificate? You
Yeah.
live at your own house.
Yeah, and your social security card.
Yeah,
Hello.
that both of them.
So
We don't
speak to
carry
that,
those around.
right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I mean, their mothers, and my mother, for God's sake, may live in another state.
Yeah.
Your mom may just live in another state, or and you live here, and you want to go vote. You've got. you
Yeah,
have
but
time.
they're trying to do the proof of citizenship, and which is,
Speak to that.
I think it's more voter oppression,
It is.
suppression of the vote, and this is why we spend a lot of time talking about it because every time we step up, there's some other things that come up, right? Something like your ID.
And we've been through that.
And we've been through that, but we're
been
going
through
through it a
that.
different way
Yeah.
now, right? But before you could do, remember when we all did the absentee vote? We didn't do that process. We believe in going to the polls.
polls,
that's right.
Right?
Yes.
We do,
Yes.
right? So when we did do it, we saw what? An empowerment movement.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
a lot. So they changed what? The rules. And you would now have to show your ID or put your ID on the application when you request it.
Yeah.
Right? So every move we make, that's
And
why I say,
in order to get that ID, tell us tell us that process.
well, you have to have a birth
ID.
certificate. You gotta go to wherever you go to get a birth certificate, right?
Yeah.
But you not only if you're going to get the birth certificate, you gotta go and get your Social Security. You gotta get your voter ID or a picture ID, right? Or Georgia State approved ID.
Yes,
And
right.
make sure that name
Not
is spelled
your-
correctly.
Oh God, don't even get me
Okay,
started
so
on
so,
that.
so you see where I'm going with that. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to frame.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I've spoken to a few persons
Mm-hmm.
in the past week. I say, hey, do you have your birth certificate handy? My birth certificate? What am I doing? I'm like, okay.
Yes.
And I'm going, do you know how to at least get that voter ID? Get a
Right.
voter ID. Get an ID, a
Right.
national
In general.
ID.
Right.
Oh my God, but you need your birth certificate now. So they're making it hard.
Yes.
As you said.
They make
They
it
want to purge.
That's it.
They want
Yes.
to purge. Let me tell you, it's just another strategy that they're using.
It is.
Do not get distracted.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do not get distracted. Do not get discouraged.
That's right.
Because as you said, we've got to stay
Stay-
the course.
Stay the course.
Voting, what did you say earlier? It is critical.
It's very
imperative that
critical. That's
we
right.
vote.
And so with
Voting is
this
your power.
With this argument, though, because you will still have some who will say, well, what's the use in voting? Because whoever I vote for doesn't come in power, or
They don't do anything
What
for me.
They don't do anything. What do you say to those who think that voting is a waste of time?
Actually, I'm being tested already because we're creating a young adult ministry at our church, and I'm there to do that. So we got the faith part, but then we also going to connect it to activism for them. I'm learning a lot from that age group, 18 to 35. My son sits in that, but it's a little different with my son because he didn't have a choice. He had to go everywhere I went.
Like you.
Benevolent
So his
dictatorship.
friends would ask him, who we supposed to vote for? And he was
Yeah.
like, Mama, I know everybody on
Oh,
here.
wow.
Right. So it's a little different for him, but he doesn't have the same interest like me. But it's because like I'm speaking it, you're around it, so
That's
you'll know
right.
it. But that core group, even though they voted before, they got disappointed because their candidate didn't win.
Right.
So we are in a stage now trying to keep them educated, and this is why that's why I'm saying that we have to stay educated on the actual roles. Because if you understood the roles, then you will understand this is not a one time and you fix the problem. You have to stay engaged.
Stay engaged.
You
I
have to
think
stay
that
engaged.
is the answer. So as
You know
we
what? We're
wrapping
wrapping up. We've
right?
got
We
quite
are
a few
wrapping-
things going on, and we're just about out of time.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, is there any last word that you would share to people who are on the fence? They're thinking, it's not worth it to even try again to vote. I mean, it's not going to matter anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person in 2 seconds?
Okay. So basically voting is your voice, voting is your power. Use your vote so that your voice is heard, so that we can all be empowered to a better world.
You said it, and
yes,
you've heard
yes.
it here, Speak
Ashe,
Harmony
ashe.
family. You
Yes.
know, it is talking about using your power, impacting your community. Stop complaining. Complain and do something about it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you can. All you have to do is speak up. Here we have this young, beautiful sister, goes to in a neighborhood and says, hey, we don't have any lights. We don't have pavement. We need this. And all she did was speak up, stand up, and rallied the people around her. And she started just by rallying her family together. Thank you so much for sharing your message. It was very inspiring. We
Thank you.
really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
that.
me.
We
Great
appreciate it
conversation.
sincerely. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you back here.
Yes.
So,
So what we got going on? There's some community events going on because March is not joking.
There are quite a few. I mean, we've got the Marcus. Well, tomorrow,
Yeah.
we got that event at the Capitol. So we've got One Voice Africa.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got that, and there it is. It's Africa Day. So One Voice Africa has tomorrow at the Capitol, the Georgia State Capitol, guys. Wednesday the 18th. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it's a meet and greet. And you're going to be there. The legislative session is really from 10 to 12. So let me correct that. And then you do the meet and greet after. I was there last year, and let me tell you, we had a ball. We really had a great time. So it's at 206 Washington Street, the state capitol, 111 state capitol in Atlanta. And they're preferring African, the traditional attire.
You got to take some pictures.
So
It's going to be beautiful.
Of course,
Yes.
there are people.
Yes.
So that's tomorrow, guys. And then we've got other stuff going on. We've got the Marcus Garvey Symposium that's coming on the 25th of March.
Wow.
So it's Atlanta. We're asking you to remember the International Day of Remembrance for the victims of the slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so March 25th, mark your calendars, be there next. It's the family event. You want to make sure you get there. It's going to be held at the Big Bethel Church, and that's in Atlanta. And it's commemorating the 109th anniversary of Marcus Garvey's first public lecture in Atlanta, guys. So we got to be there. We got to be there. So it's at Big Bethel AME Church, and it's at 220 Auburn Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia. And we want to shout out our partners, Island Heat. Island Heat, our partners, another podcast that's out of APAP Media. There we have it, the Island Heat radio show. When I tell you, they do great stuff on Monday nights from 9 to 11 p.m. We're shouting out Super Peck and Lady Lalibella. Yes. Big shout out.
And I saw you rocking earlier, so you like your little reggae music there. So you were rocking, and they will keep you rocking on Mondays. Absolutely.
Yes. So we're thankful to you guys for joining us once more.
Yeah, we appreciate APAP Media Group, which is a full-service media company, for sponsoring this show, and to our other sponsor, Heart Love Inc., who specializes in relationship and emotional management. And for more information on that, contact speakharmony1@gmail.com. And, of course, join us right here at the APAP studio. If you want, come on down and visit if you're in the area. Live on YouTube, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as we continue learning from those who inspire us through action and purpose. Until then, keep speaking harmony into your life.
We want you to like, share, subscribe, and like again, subscribe and share, and repeat. We thank you until
Thank
next
you so
Tuesday,
much. Until next
7
Tuesday.
to 8.
Thank you again.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
All
you.
right, lovely
thank you,
ladies, lovely
sisters.
ladies. Give thanks, give thanks.
Welcome to Speak Harmony, hosted by Sharon Thompson and Dr. Sharon Reid, bringing news, ideas, and community needs. We learn, we grow, we stay informed together in harmony. Our voices are heard. Speak Harmony, where knowledge meets community.